So SuperSign is our CMS. But when we talk about SOC, our WebOS platform, that's where you can run. We've got close to 100 partners that can run natively on our SOC, BroadSign being one of those. Roy, I think you had mentioned you don't want to overcomplicate this. You come in and talk about the entire network.
Can we record this, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's fine, Roy.
So that would be the reason to keep the BroadSign CMS in place. That SuperSign is not capable of handling. Okay.
So there are two SuperSigns.
I'm sorry. I'm unable to start the recording. Can somebody from LG start the recording from the host side?
Evan, if you originated a meeting, we could not record. You were the one who set up the meeting?
Tom didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, if I set the meeting, then unfortunately inside of our cloud system we don't have the function, the record function. Just like I'm sitting here struggling with why I can't get audio. Is my audio working any better by any chance, or it's still choppy?
It is.
Yep.
It is.
It's
yes.
clear.
Sounds good, Tom.
Okay, good. I want to interject a couple things to kind of make sure we get down the right line of questioning in order to support you guys. What I heard you say is that the RFP is excluding the SOC or CMS platform. Both of those things are out of scope. So this is strictly a play on a more efficient supply chain distribution model, right?
They have not said SOC is out of scope. They've indicated in the RFP Q&A that SOC is of interest. And whatever we want to propose, we're willing to listen to.
Okay. Where Evan's headed in our internal conversation, for the reasons that you guys were just starting to go down, that's being closely evaluated in order to enable their connectivity with their chosen CMS platform onto our SOC or WebOS platform. And that's going to be ideally the optimum situation that's going to enable your zero-touch provisioning model that gives you the ability for remote monitoring, remote triage, all of those things that work in conjunction with the SOC-based CMS platform of their choice. We've done third-party integrations with people like BrightSign and others. We even have a model that's got an embedded BrightSign player into our SOC specifically for that purpose. But those are longer-term developments. And in the reference case that John was alluding to around Starbucks, we actually created a customized platform that enabled them to utilize their CMS of choice with a custom integration into our SOC platform. But that took, again, 6 months or so to do. I don't think it could take as long the next time. So we really need to understand more specifically on both.
It would be the same platform. Yeah. So I just want to be clear that it's not exclusive to Starbucks. That zero-touch provisioning is a standard feature of Connected Care.
I'm aware, John. And my point is we need to take a look to support Stefanini in both near-term and long-term expectations that they're communicating back to Patient Point. So near-term, what's your ability to help them streamline their procurement channel and their streamline their service calls and get rid of that big monkey off their back, and then long-term help facilitate for them a more effective SOC-based platform. That's my understanding of where you guys are going. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
it is.
When you say long term, I don't expect it to take more than 6 months, right? 180 days is, we should not have to create we should not have to create an entire environment where we're working a year just to get rid of it, right?
Correct. I think in this case, long term means that it's not implemented day one.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's stick with that, 90 to 120, 90 to 180 day window to be able to prove it in the lab that it works, get that custom integration done if that's what's necessary, and start with a small pilot so we can demonstrate our ability to deliver so much more than they're currently delivering.
Agreed.
And I think we'd want to understand the model roadmap as well if it's going to require significant model changes so that we can be tuned in to our logistics channel.
I don't, and John, Evan, you can correct me if I mistake this, but I don't foresee a model change. I meaning we have a model that's sufficient to achieve what they're trying to do. So it's not a model change issue. It's not a multiple step. I think we can pick the model that we need to build the platform off of, and that's a sustainable model within LG for the foreseeable future. So you've got a stable platform there to work off of.
So one thing that I'm kind of stuck on, I got my shirt stuck on it right now, is Evan, you said you did not believe Connected Care was robust enough for their needs. And
no, I'm sorry.
SuperSign.
SuperSign. There's two different things.
Got it. My bad notes. Bad notes.
Okay. And I'm going to clarify two things on that as well. There's different platforms that we have, and John can jump in here. John and I have been working on a retail media network solution on a LG Cloud services that's a little bit more advanced than just the SuperSign, and I do believe that it's got capabilities and is worth a close look. I think that's for conversation outside the
Now your audio is breaking up.
Okay.
Sorry, John. I think that he was saying exactly what we want. Our clarifying question is going to be which of your cloud platforms is most appropriate for this kind of deployment.
So Connected Care is our fleet management platform, James. That would be used to MDM, provision MDM the devices. It would be used to automatically load and launch, BroadSign. Let's, for example, if you're going to use that in the interim, in the future, if you were to write your own CMS, like a WebOS CMS, it would be used to launch that. Typically the CMS would be the one to update the content, to fetch and update the content.
What is the remote control capability of that cloud platform on the display?
It is pretty much, if I could say 100%, meaning that anything you're able to do to that display, whether through a remote control or any kind of fleet management operation you can think of, firmware updates, cloning, setting different Yep, it's all there. There's an API. There's an API engine behind it, James, so that on a scale of patient point, you wouldn't really go through the UI. We'd imagine you'd automate it, using MCP to drive our API. So that's probably where the power is that you're able to automate a lot of the workflow. We have service integration, but you don't need to use ServiceNow because, we can pretty much integrate with any type of ticketing system, Zendesk. So that's what the API buys you. If you do use ServiceNow, it's kind of like it's already been developed. You just need to pay ServiceNow. So those are there's telemetry that WebOS devices automatically send, and that includes things like the device itself would identify if like you've got abnormal screen, and then would notify either SNMP, could be email, could be ServiceNow. So there are a variety of reporting mechanism, alerting mechanism. I think Connected Care is the platform, the right platform for you to do a fleet management of.
And is it fair to say that Patient Point has already seen all of that? They're aware of all of this?
Yeah, I think
Connected Care, they're evaluating both Connected Care and WebOS, the SOC.
yeah.
Obviously running BroadSign on our SOC.
I
Okay.
think you have choices with WebOS in that maybe the end goal would be you would develop your own CMS, both the cloud side and the device side. The device side is we make it simple for you because that's is all the application development support is there. But you don't need to. You have choice of probably 200-300 other CMS partners that are running today. Evan mentioned we have our own SuperSign both on premise, which wouldn't be right for you because there's a limitation. It's an on-prem server. We have SuperSign Cloud, which doesn't have a limit to the number of devices. So you have a lot of choices when you go on the WebOS and think about running SOC.
Okay. And the other thing that you had mentioned, JR, is that you're suspecting that we would not rely on the Wi-Fi, but rather have a 5G modem device. What is the reason that you said that would likely occur?
The issue we've seen with depending on I don't want to say unknown, but on like somebody else's Wi-Fi, is that your connectivity cannot be guaranteed. If we do a pass key, for example, they change the password, you lose connection. Security is probably the main thing, though.
Hey, John.
This is not our.
There. Just yeah, and just so you know, I mean, they I can tell you they have a private network running off the doctor's office is going to let you run off of their network. So you're going to have to have some kind of private network. I think they're using some kind of
you don't want to depend
right now.
I think you don't want to depend on different doctors' networks.
That's out of our scope, John. That's out of our scope. That's out of our scope. It's out of Stefanini's scope. The network platform that Patient Point provides in order to connect your devices is their responsibility, and that's not something that we need to confuse the issue on. There are two questions out there. Jeff's got a question, and Vanish got a question.
Go ahead, Vanish. Yeah. So my question is regards to we are talking about the Connected Care with LG cloud-based platform again, right, to monitor the devices. Okay. And I was coming to this point when we say, okay, for the network, right? So just take an example, even today, let's say those clinics or the branch sites have the public internet connections, which is again, could be from the doctors, could be from the facility, or could be from the other service providers, but it's not controlled network. It's not centralized network, correct? Connected Care doesn't care that, right? It does not need that device must be on the private network only, and then I can talk to it. It's just an API-based integration, so device connected to any of the network, it has any of the IP from the private service providers, it will still communicate based on the API to the, right?
So there are a couple of things where the network does matter. Whitelisting, network whitelisting is one of them, where it's very difficult to whitelist some of the server URLs that Connected Care needs when the network is uncontrolled, right? You don't know who to go to. The second thing is for security, especially if you're on Wi-Fi, you'd want to rotate your certificate every, 90 days, 6 months. And if it's not a network that you can control, it becomes very difficult. Connected Care provides a facility for you to rotate certificates, Wi-Fi certificates. So you wouldn't be able to take advantage of that by just not having a controlled network.
Okay, so when you say connected care provides that security certificates rolled out, so mean the certificate would be from the LG itself, right, to authenticate the device, or it would be again the certificate from the customer that who can push their certificate for the devices to connect or to authenticate
Correct.
for the network connectivity.
Yeah, we never want to kind of like store the certificates. So it is, we just kind of act as a middleman so that the device can get the new certificates, if you will, and able to connect using the new, could be passkey, could be certificates. So LG just kind of is the transport mechanism from whatever server you're storing your certificates.
Okay, and okay, what I hear, right, those displays, right, currently are not networked. They are connected to these media players through HDMI. They are not
Yes.
networked currently.
Yeah, Evan, I don't think any of
correct.
our,
Yeah. You're talking about the current setup, correct?
Current setup, yep, right. So when we propose them, right,
So currently,
that displays has to be on the network to connect them with the connected care.
Correct. Yes.
correct. And I can tell you they just introduced a new media player, a Wi-Fi pass-through. So they for this specific reason they just implemented that. But again, you're talking about it, and I'm not even sure implementing in the field. So as I said earlier, just one thing to keep in mind: the current model that is out in the field. And this is what I was trying to say earlier, so I want to make sure this is clear. The current model that's in the field will not be networked. It will not have connected care, and it will not have SOC. So again, if we were to flip this and say, okay, we're running everything natively on the display, the entire fleet would have to be replenished.
Yeah, and how I would approach that would be, from a regional perspective, they expect to do a 30% refresh, according to the numbers that we've seen roughly. 20, let's say a 20% refresh. But if there's a good reason to accelerate that, is kind of the angle that I would look at, because we certainly would not want to have any new devices that are not connected. I mean, that network component is very important. I think everybody, is defaulting in that.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these, even if those displays are not networked, right? So these connected care, utility, or any other tool that can monitor those displays or devices are useless until those devices are not networked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and this is the conversation I've been having with PatientPoint for years now. But at some point, if you start installations with more modern product and running it, your fleet's going to be replenished over time. Maybe, as you said, you do territorially, you kind of work it over time. You're not replacing 100,000 displays overnight, but that's at some point, you want to start moving toward the future. That's how you have to do it.
Yeah, and our belief is the 32,800 service calls that on average are going to, cost $300 to $500 to execute. There is a financial reason to do that. If we can make the CapEx
I think
make sense.
That's the key to your.
All right. So today,
Yes,
your professional devices don't necessarily have networking capability, but your consumer level devices do. Is there any direction in the product to make a Wi-Fi capability native to your professional line?
We do have Wi-Fi capable displays. Let me clarify that. The model that was standardized by PatientPoint did not have Wi-Fi built into it. Again, it has a network jack into it, so if they were to put a media player on the back of it, that has Wi-Fi pass-through.
That's what we're trying to avoid. Right?
But what we're talking about, the current model that is being utilized does not have WebOS, so you cannot run any CMS on it natively. It does not have built-in Wi-Fi. So if you want to run digital signage on it, you have to have a media player. You can't just get that out with the current model as implemented. Now, they are currently evaluating a new model that runs our most current WebOS version. It has connected care capability. It has built-in Wi-Fi.
And
so that's what's being evaluated. So
what is their hesitation to that? You say it's currently being evaluated. How's that going? How's that evaluation going?
Good. It's been going underway for a couple months now. So there are some other things, talking with the CMS solution provider to implement some certain APIs. So there's just a lot going in. It's not like, okay, it's good, we're good to go, but it is being evaluated.
And I noticed they have a RS-232 requirement for the displays as well. Are they using that for any kind of remote management?
So that's currently what I think they're trying to get past, and this is what Connected Care would eventually become, or using a current CMS provider. But yes, right now they are using on-off testing. I mean, they're doing this through our RS-232 right now.
Okay. And are you able to say, is this a UR or UH line that we're talking about for LG?
Yeah. So currently, what they are using. Currently, they're using the UR340. I'm sorry, I take that back. It just transitioned to the PK340.
PK340.
And even one more thing. Sorry, Jeff. So does that smart displays, right, that you are proposing, or the new series of the displays supports VPN client installations? Like if let's take an example, Cisco AnyConnect.
Yes.
Okay, we support. Okay, so because we are looking if we can do that through the VPN Connect and have something in place where we should not enter any kind of password. It should be based on some password-based authentication connectivity without entering the password, because as soon as the password is changed, right, it's very difficult to put that password on all of the displays. But a certificate rollout can be done very easily.
Yeah, there's a number of, if you're talking about like certificate-based authentication, we support, eTLS. Even the password-based, we support like MS-Chat version 2, like a tunnel type. So if you were to, for example, this is common when you want to deploy your own CMS, because you would be hosting, you'd be hosting the application that the displays would go fetch. So that's how exactly what you described. If you were to, use a third party, like, for example, BroadSign, while you wouldn't, you wouldn't need to VPN. Yeah.
Okay, we heard the two that go to leave it or lunch. All right, thank you. Okay, right. Thank you. She's got a lunchbox. She brought it up. So.
Jeff, you're right, being patient. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. So this is my question for John. So everyone's talking about the need to have separate networks. That usually implies today they're using Cradlepoint for a couple of, on a minor basis. So, John, do you envision? So if they had to implement a private network, they would need to ship a device. Something probably they would do would be a would be a 5G device. That would be connected, I guess, via Wi-Fi to your new TVs. You would use the Wi-Fi enabled TVs to connect to like a Cradlepoint that then would help establish the private network essentially, right? For your Care Connect to reach the devices, monitor them, et cetera, et cetera. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
So Jeff, if you were to use Cradlepoint, yes, you could use Wi-Fi. If you were to use, I don't know, let's say T-Mobile, you could just go Ethernet direct from the modem into the display, which would be the preferred way, rather than doing Wi-Fi.
Okay,
but
got
either
it.
way, either way works. Yeah. You have to think about the bandwidth for the content portion. The fleet management portion, we don't really use up that much bandwidth. 2 minutes we'll send a basically like a 1200 by 800 screenshot. It's going to be, I don't know, 100K, 50K the most. It's not that intensive. Yeah.
Right. Thanks. That's my only question.
I think another thing you may want to consider and just to think about is currently they are using a Cradlepoint. The information is, if they're doing update on content, it's usually done overnight when the business isn't open. But I think another of a external media player is the storage portion of it. So questions that would need to be answered is how much storage do you need? And I don't know the answer to that, but is there enough internal storage on our WebOS SoC to handle the amount of content they have? Otherwise, you'd have to think about an external storage device.
Does that display allow an external storage device?
It
Yes.
does, but it's
Right, John, you
it's
can
all
try.
or none. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's all or none, James, where you could use an external storage, but then you can't use the internal storage.
Would external storage be like a USB plug-in stick?
It can be USB plug-in stick, yes, or USB drive. Yeah. Yeah, we have, depending on the model, you have anywhere from, 9 gigabyte to about 26 gigabyte of content storage available.
I mean, it seems like a fair amount. Do you see them exceeding that on a regular basis? With the cost
Again, I
of
don't
running?
know. I don't know what that is, so I can't say.
Yeah, it depends if you're doing, if you're massaging the content for a specific size display. If you're pushing 4K content, it's going to eat up a lot. But if you're just pushing 1080p, 24 frames per second, for example, it's not that bad. Also, the content rotation schedule would, dictate how much storage you need. If you're constantly refreshing the content, then you don't need a lot of storage. But if you push content for like a whole month, for example, and you don't want to keep refreshing it, then yeah, you might need more storage.